Welcome to another installment of Philosophic Perspectives on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. All past shows are archived. You can pick them up at ArtistFirst.com. And now out to your host, it's Arthur D. Schwartz.
Why, hello everybody. Welcome back. Nice to have you with me this evening. Now, today's show is called, I've entitled it, Invitation to Authors, Filmmakers, Artists, and Inventors, subtitled Promote Your Work on the Philosophic Perspectives Radio Show. So now this show is going to have two parts because, as everyone knows, the election is less than a week away. It's 6 days away, or actually more like 5 because we're in the evening, this coming Tuesday. And I've mentioned many times I've been completely absorbed by this. And so the way we're going to handle this show tonight is the first half is going to be the title. You know, it's going to be conform to the title. I want to talk about, it has to do with the Creativity Expo, which I've spoken about a few times in the show, and I'm going to combine it with the radio show. Of course, I wrote a little description on the show page. Why don't I read that real quickly? It's very brief. I have discussed on my Creativity Expo group on several occasions, and I now want to integrate it with the radio show. If you are an author, artist, or creative thinker, you could become part of both the Creativity Expo and upcoming roundtable discussions on Philosophic Perspectives radio show. Solo guest spots may also become a possibility. So it's simple to get started. Now I'm going to paraphrase here. First, you want to click the link on Creativity Expo. It's free to join. And then when you do that, you'll post your information. If you're an artist, an inventor, musician, author, I really would encourage you to list yourself on the presenters registry, which is on the Creativity Expo site, but that's just another link. I have both links specified, the Creativity Expo itself and the presenters registry, which is where you can list yourself, so that would be a resource for me to contact you and invite you onto the show and stuff like that. So after you post your information on the registry, you will be part of a pool of artists and thinkers who help comprise the various roundtable discussions that are broadcast live with subsequent free podcasts of the show available to everyone. And of course, always feel free to contact me. So I'm going to get talking about this and explaining in more detail. I mean, I've talked about this several times, but now I've decided to, I'm very excited by it, about this concept, because it's going to integrate the show and the Creativity Expo, and I think it will vitalize both. So the Creativity Expo, there's two F's, so let me just step back a little bit and talk about the roundtable, the radio roundtable discussion concept I have for the Philosophic Perspectives radio show. I have had really one, we've had two, but that one was, the second one was at a coffee shop. It was a little bit different. But we only had one where I had 3 members of my social philosophizers group, and we talked about freedom and the singularity, and it was really great. I thought just the first one we did, and I really feel it went very, very well. As a matter of fact, I probably should give you the date of that show, but you might be interested in listening to it. Let's see if I can find it real quick here. I'm looking at the list. Let's see. Well, okay. True to form, it was in 2015. Here we go. I got it. It was June 17th, 2015. Our first radio roundtable discussion. It's called The Future and Philosophy. It was the Future and Philosophy, and I had 3 members joining me that night. And this concept I have of the radio roundtable is going to bring together members of my group, but also members of my listening audience on ArtistFirst Radio Network, the Philosophic Perspectives show. So listeners not only for my show, but I'm going to promote this across the radio, the ArtistFirst Radio Network, and perhaps other guests I might invite on, as well as people from my groups. And the thing is, the connection with the Creativity Expo is because, as I've said many times, I'm interested in developing a community in the Boston area, but it doesn't need to be restricted to the Boston area. So a community of creative artists, of writers, of inventors, of creative thinkers, any kind of creative endeavor is what the creativity is about, and it's primarily for indies, independent writers, authors, filmmakers. And so if you are listening to me right now, and if you're a filmmaker, or if you're an author, or if you have interesting artistic endeavors, a musician as well, contact me. Now, the way to contact me is best is just to go on to do it by email, which is Arthur it's radio at, I'm forgetting, I don't use it that often. I'm going to look at it here. What I should use. It's radio at arthurschwartz.com. Yeah. So you can send it to radio at arthurschwartz.com, or you can just go on, I'm going to explain this in a second, just go on to and put yourself on that site. In other words, that registry, it's called the Presenters Registry. And when you're on the registry, I will have you as a resource so that I can contact you and pull things together. It's so essential, and it also shows me that you're interested. So the link to the Creativity Expo is on the show page, but here is the actual URL that will bring you there. It's creativityexpo.org. Creativity Expo at CreativityExpo, Creativity Expo, one word, .org. That will take you to the meetup. Right now it's on a meetup, but that URL takes you there. And what you'll see there is a link to the Presenters Registry. But before you can join the Presenters Registry, you have to join Creativity Expo. All this is free, folks. It's not costing you anything, but you have to sign up. Very simple. I think the meetup just asks you for your email and your name, and just pretty much it. And once you're signed up, then you can click on that link, which is on the page. You'll find on either the tab or to the left near the bottom. I set up a link for the Presenters Registry, or at the Philosophic Perspectives Radio show page on ArtistFirst Radio. You'll also see a link. Well, that link is only going to be there for about 2 weeks until the next show. But if you're listening to this now and you want to do it right away or in the near future, you'll find that link posted. But that's going to disappear in about 2 weeks because that's part of the description on the promo for the show. So basically, the best way to do it is just go to creativityexpo.org and look for. You can just click on the discussions tab at the box, or if you look at the top. Or if you look at the left towards the bottom, you'll see a little an image and it's labeled Presenters Registry. And click that; it'll take you right to the discussion boards, and then the rest of it is self-explanatory. So you would explain what kind of book you work on, or what kind of book you've written, or what kind of movie you've made, or what kind of artistic endeavor that you have, or what other intellectual outside of the box projects you are. If you're an inventor, what have you invented? So it's extremely a wide range of endeavors. So I think I want to, just clarify this one more time, then I want to go back and explain this whole concept of how the Creativity Expo and the radio roundtables on the radio show, the Philosophic Perspectives radio show, are all going to be interlinked. Having said that, let me just add that if you put yourself on the presenters registry, at my discretion, I might invite some of you to be a solo guest. That's certainly possible. Going on the registry, there's no guarantees either. You're making yourself known to me so I can get people involved. I can't guarantee that you'd actually come on the show. That's not the point. But I think most of you probably will. I'm going to obviously have to have discretion here. But this is an opportunity. If anyone listening to this is a serious artist, a serious writer, serious about their work, has something to show for it, has something you've built, has something you've written, there's something you've created, songs you've written, whatever the case might be, then you're the person that I'm looking for to sign up on that presenters registry. I'm just asking for your name and a little description, essentially. It's self-explanatory. It's just as easy can be. There's really nothing to it. But I need you to list yourself because that you will become basically the pool that I will draw from, at least from this route. I've got another site that's Social Philosophizers Club, which I also will be drawing from that group as well. That group would be more people who have an interest in philosophy. But there's artists and there's, I don't want to create any categories, but I do have these two groups, and they do have, a certain different kind of functionality. Okay. So once again, on the Philosophic Perspectives radio show, I have radio roundtables, and I am going to be promoting this on the radio network, the ArtistFirst Radio Network, and I'm hoping listeners will come on board and sign up on the presenters registry at the Creativity Expo. Let me say that again. CREATIVITY. That's Creativity Expo, EXPO. One word. CreativityExpo.org. And that will take you to the website, and then you'll find the presenters registry. One tab is on the bottom left. You'll see an image there, and you'll see the word presenters registry. You can also just click on the top of the page where you see discussions, the discussion board, and that will take you right to it as well. And if you have any problems, if for some reason you have a question that you're stumped or don't know how to do it, please just get in contact me, radio@arthurdschwartz.com, now that I got my email for this squared away. Okay, so let me see if there's a few more points I wanted to make here. No, that's pretty much it. So, this will be the start of something really, really good if you out there help me to let you yourselves be known to me, so I can include you in something bigger than ourselves. And here's the thing. Even though I'm in Boston and the Creativity Expo right now is more or less a local thing, with the radio, you can be listening. You can be in another country. You can be, you can be, calling from Japan. So, when you list yourself on the presenters registry, it doesn't matter where you are, because if you come on to the radio round table, and you're just you're sitting at your home or office, wherever you are, and you're on the phone. Obviously, when you're in different parts of the world, I understand. I've had guests from different parts of the world, so time is a matter. It's not quite that easy, but we there's a show on ArtistFirst Radio that calls from Nairobi, Kenya. So anywhere you are, through the power of the Internet and modern technology, you can join the Creativity Expo, and I know this has a lot of possibility. I'm going to not only have this on the ArtistFirst Radio Network, it's going to be on YouTube, and I'm going to be doing some videos on YouTube, and I think all this is going to be interconnected so that artistic people, intellectual people, people who love the creativity of the mind and the thinking about new ideas and coming up with new solutions for different and new forms of expression. And, I mean, this is a big part of what makes the life interesting for many, many people. I include myself in that, and I'm sure many of the listeners do as well. And so this is a great opportunity. And, mostly I think the purpose of this first half hour is for me to repeat over and over again a couple of words. The first is Creativity Expo. The URL or the website, the location of the page or the site is creativityexpo.org. Creativityexpo.org. Creativity Expo. Creativityexpo.org. And if you are an artist, a writer, a filmmaker, a creative individual who does work which you'd like to share with the rest of the world, with the thousands of listeners on ArtistFirst Radio, then all you need to do there is to click on the discussion tab or the tab on the lower left side corner which says Presenters Registry. It takes you to the same place. It's a simple registry where you'll add your name and a little description of your work. That's basically it. It doesn't have to be lengthy. And you could put links in there too if you want to link to your websites and so forth and so on. And then I'll see it. And if you want to email me after you post your information, do that. But it's very. I'm not exaggerating it. I mean, I'm not oversimplifying it. I mean, it is very, very simple. And so if you can do that, we can be pioneers in a wonderful venture of creativity. I totally believe that. Now, like I said, just talking directly on my show here is part of it. But I'm going to be much more aggressive now in promoting it as well. And I'm looking throughout the entire ArtistFirst Radio Network. I'm going to be looking for folks, both listeners and hosts, but also from my own groups in the Boston area, and from my social networking, which we're going to talk about a little bit shortly, Twitter specifically, and doing some advertising. So, and then after a while, this is going to be an opportunity for you to promote your work. If you're serious and obviously if you're already an established filmmaker or author, you probably don't need this. If you are, you're still welcome. So it's for everybody, but my idea is mostly independent, creatives, you might say, and I don't like that term, but creative thinkers, creative artists. Whether you're a filmmaker, whether you're an author, whether you're a musician, whether you're a visual artist, any kind of artist, any kind of inventor. I mean, I initially had, when I created the group, I didn't really put in inventions. I realized, of course, yes, that's actually subconscious, because my super motive is invention. I mean, I'm fascinated with alternative inventions and inventions in general. So, I mean, what's more creative than invention, right? And being inventive, what's that? Well, it's a kind of creativity, right? So, inventiveness, creativity. I mean, the words they almost mean the same thing. So, that's the point I'm trying to make here in the first half of the show. I'm just going to ramble a little bit more. I know you might feel I'm being redundant and it's getting to be a little obnoxious by saying it over and over again, but I'm a hypnotist. And one of the basic things about hypnotism is not magical. It's repetition. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And so I think if I say Creativity Expo or creativityexpo.org, if I say it over and over again, creativityexpo.org, creativityexpo.org. If I could sing, I would sing it, but that would scare everybody away. I know that Scott's a musician. I'm not sure if he's a singer. Maybe if he sings, he can come in and start singing the song about creativityexpo.org, because if you say it enough or if you sing it and you make a commotion while you're saying it, you remember it more easily. creativityexpo.org. The other word is Radio Roundtable. The Radio Roundtable is basically a group discussion which I have on Philosophic Perspectives, my Philosophic Perspectives radio show. And I haven't done it very much. It's really only one or two, arguably two, however you want to look at it. But I've known, the first one went very, very well, and now I realize that it can really get going by integrating it with other writers and filmmakers and artists of all stripes and of all types in our community. And I would include the ArtistFirst Radio Network in that, both in terms of our listenership and the many shows that are broadcast every week. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now, Scott, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now, Scott, I just want to ask you, what were the two things I'm trying to emphasize? Are you been listening to me?
Yes, I have. Creative.
What are the...
I got it.
Go ahead.
I got it. Creative experts.
No.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you. Yeah, and Arthur Schwartz .gmail. No. Creativity Expo, and the Arthur D. Schwartz. No, radio at arthurdschwartz.com.
Well, yeah, creativityexpo.org, which is a website, which is really the major thing there is that I have the presenters registry on that site is where you're going to sign up. Or not really sign up, it's not signing up, just post your stuff on that registry. The only thing you sign up for is you have to become a member of Meetup, but that just requires you to, they ask for your name and you give them an email. That's basically it. And then you'll be able to go onto the registry, which I've indicated, and you can put your information. When you put your information, I'll see it. And so then when I want to put a show together, I have I can see you. I can think about what you're writing, and I'll put it all together, and I'll contact you, and then we'll see if you want to come on the show. The other one was the other thing Scott said was my radio show. Yeah, but specifically, I'm promoting right now on Philosophic Perspectives and on my radio show. I'm promoting the Radio Roundtable concept, which is a group discussion. On ArtistFirst Radio, we have the ability to bring pretty much as many people as we want together in a discussion. But these discussions will be small. I mean, these discussions will be 3, 4, 5, 6 people maximum, because it's not feasible more than that. I would say probably 4 or 5 would be typical. Sometimes I might just have it could be just one other person. It could be 3, but somewhere between 2 and 6. And most likely I'm looking at probably between 3 and 5. That's what I look at the roundtable discussions as being. It's and then of course there is a possibility for just having a guest. I'm being a guest on my show as well. And so there's a lot of opportunity here, and we can create this reality. We can really make this happen. Okay, so hopefully you got that. You might want to go to the Philosophic Perspectives show page on ArtistFirst Radio, and for the next 2 weeks anyway, you'll see it posted. The links posted there on the top where it says it's going to. Well, today it says upcoming show. I think it's Scott changes it to saying most recent show or past show. But that's just for a couple of weeks. After that, you would just go to creativityexpo.org. creativityexpo.org, or you can listen to the podcast that we're making tonight. That's going to be available within usually if not tonight then tomorrow generally, and you can listen to it again. You'll get the information, and I will I'm sure continue to mention it on future shows. Okay, hopefully you've got that, and right now, Scott, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, what we're going to do is will be a real break, but it's about the election, but it's basically through my tweets. I've become very active on Twitter, and basically all I've been doing for the last couple of months is just tweeting about the campaign, and so. Most of you, if you've been listening, know my sentiments there. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do when we come back, and we'll be back shortly.
In Ethical Empowerment, Virtue Beyond the Paradigms, Arthur D. Schwartz presents an ethical theory that is a framework for evaluating moral conundrums that go beyond legalistic rulemaking, dogmatism, and preconditioned thinking. The book is as much an ethical framework for unconventional ideas as it is for staying with convention. Ethical Empowerment is a manifesto of non-doctrinaire perspective. Ultimately, the hypnotic thinking of ideology and dogmatism can only be overcome by returning to the true source and essence of morality, which is nothing less than universal love. Discover how the philosophically liberating approach of the ethical empowerment can be applied to the range of ethical, social, and political controversy. Read about a plan to eliminate all political parties. Entertain the possibility of an overhaul of the patent system and its replacement with a system that rewards inventors while eliminating monopolistic control of patents and technological suppression. Many other transformative ideas are discussed in the book, including issues related to the monetary system, real estate, scientific paradigms, and a rational approach to conspiracy theory. While ethical empowerment will challenge your mind to consider new perspectives, the ethical challenge is always to keep the diversity, depth, and breadth of perspective within the boundaries of love. Ethical Empowerment is available at Amazon.com and most online booksellers in both print and e-book editions.
This is Arthur D. Schwartz. Beliefs and disbeliefs can be very powerful. Much like philosophy, hypnotism is concerned with belief. Hypnotherapy, a practical application of hypnotism, may largely be described as the practice of removing false beliefs that form mental blocks to success, to happiness, and to well-being. In my hypnotherapy and philosophical counseling practice, I combine my work in philosophy with hypnotism in order to clear mental blockages that can occur on both conscious and subconscious levels. A mental block may be conscious or subconscious and can be expressed, for example, in the form of anxiety, low self-esteem or low motivation, bad habits, tobacco habits, weight gain, low performance, and much more. If you are interested in using hypnosis and the power of the mind to overcome mental blocks and barriers that have emerged in your life. Please feel free to give me a call at 617-964-4800 or visit www.integralhypnosis.com. That's INTEGRAL hypnosis.com.
This is George Thorogood of the Destroyers, and you're listening to ArtistFirst Radio.
Thanks for joining us on Philosophic Perspectives on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. All past shows are downloadable. Pick them up at ArtistFirst.com. Now back to your host, Arthur D. Schwartz.
Well, welcome back. So the previous half hour was, once again, creativityexpo.org and the Radio Roundtable, which is a group discussion on the radio show. And I'm going to merge these two together. I'm inviting everybody, or many people who are authors, filmmakers, artists of various sorts, creative thinkers, to join up, go on to the creativityexpo.org, find the presenters registry, which I've explained, where you can, you need to join first, but then the Creativity Expo first, which is free. And then you can go on to the discussion board, which has the presenters registry, which you'll see, and you can just describe, give me some basic information. And so that I have a resource, a pool of resources, you might say, a talent pool, which basically it is, to draw from as I create various shows of different types. Okay. Well, I mentioned Twitter before and social networking, and I'll be, by the way, promoting this Creativity Expo, the Roundtable, Radio Roundtable, etc., on the Twitter and social networking as well. It's one of the but on the subject of Twitter, I mentioned that I've been totally absorbed with this campaign. So listen, there's no secret that I despise Donald Trump. I mean, I really do. I'm just going to be honest. I despise that man. I cannot believe in my life anyone who's living. I mean, there's certainly despicable characters of history before I was born. There were a few people around before I was born. But this guy, I mean, because I think he's a demagogue, he's a proto-Nazi. That's what I call him, a proto-Nazi. And I'm just being blunt about it. I mean, it's really funny how today he talked about, he was endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan. He said, oh, it's a despicable thing. But, yeah, right. So anyway, you know what? What I'm going to do now is just kind of go through some of my tweets. That's what I'm going to read some of my tweets. I might mention some of the retweets I've done too, but I'll try to focus mostly on my tweets. Now, the tweet I had on the subject I just mentioned, this is what I said. Probably did this just a few hours ago. He of, quote, David Duke, I don't know anything about him. Now he's aghast that the KKK supports him. Donald, you're a liar, a fraud, and a proto-Nazi. So that was my tweet. That's exactly, I mean, most people remember him saying, what? I mean, I don't know David Duke. Now he's a defender of the rights of non-white people, and he's almost liberal now. He's so totally against the KKK, even though he frequents white supremacist websites. Indeed, what a phony, what a fraud. Okay, I'm just getting warmed up here. I'm going to go down. So my Twitter account is very easy. Twitter.com/Arthur D. Schwartz. Twitter.com Arthur D. Schwartz. Also on the Philosophic Perspectives show page on ArtistFirst Radio, you'll see my link to the little, the little bird tweet, a little bird logo or icon. It'll take you to my site as well. But basically, it's twitter.com/Arthur D. Schwartz. That's all. Okay. So I'm going to look down. There's a lot of stuff I've retweeted, but I'm going to stick with what right now of my own tweets. Okay, so the big thing this week, of course, was this FBI, and they decided to reopen Clinton's email issue without actually saying anything. The thing was, well, we found this on a computer by Huma, Abedin, I think I'm pronouncing Hillary's associate, and it was her estranged husband, the whack job, Wiener. And it was his computer. But apparently there's maybe some communication that Wiener's wife used and connected and went through the server that Clinton had in her home. And so, but he said, but maybe, sort of, we're not sure. It might be nothing. And so this is my tweet. Well, actually, I had several tweets, so so the thing is that it goes to the recent to the most, when you go down to the earlier. So I'm going to go down and find where I started the discussion. So I put it in chronological order. Okay. Let me get the first one here. I think the first one was I said, Dear President Obama, could you remove James Comey as director of the FBI? His malfeasance provides means to block Trump's path of terror. I mean, the thing is, there's protocols about not doing that. That you don't. I think they wait 60 days before an election, a presidential election, before they would release any information that could influence the election. So he violated the protocols, but more than that, it looks like he violated the Hatch Act, which is actual law that government officials cannot interfere with the course of an election, which he clearly has. So my first tweet was, Dear President Obama, could you remove James Comey as director of the FBI? His malfeasance provides means to block Trump's path of terror. And I'm not joking. That's the way I look at Trump. And because now, of course, election, who knows how it's going to go. I still have faith that Hillary is going to win, but she might not. I mean, right now it's almost a draw. Although they still give her the edge, but she's slipping badly. I think she might have turned the corner today. I hope. I saw her go. I saw one poll that was pretty good. But I think Comey, what he did is playing with fire. Okay, here's another, the one that came after that. For those who think Comey isn't seeking to throw election to Trump by violating Hatch Act, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you. Because that's right. Give me a break. He's a Republican. He's trying to throw the election. I don't care. He's a nice guy. He's supposed to be religious. I don't care what he knows. He's not stupid. He is trying to throw the election. You can call it whatever you want, describe it in any other way. He was in a bind. Give me a break. And you know what? Democrats and Republicans alike have condemned what he did because it's so unfair. I mean, there are some people. You don't actually always have to be partisan. Now, Comey is now under the guise of nonpartisanship. I think he's being very partisan because I think he caved into the Republicans who were angry with his earlier decision on the emails back in July. So here's the one here's the tweet that I did before that one. People can be so stupid. Comey's announcement of zero facts creates electoral uproar. A democracy is only as smart as its people. Oops. Okay, so I was being a little sarcastic. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I just wonder, I mean, to me it's amazing that Trump in the position where he is right now. But the thing is, Comey made this possible by what he did. Let's see. I know I have some more. Let me go up a little bit. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I read this article by Akil Reed Amar. He's a professor at one of the Ivy League schools. Right now I haven't. I can't see it, but I did know. I think he's a well-known professor. I actually have two. One where I have the link. You'll see. God bless Akil Reed Amar for writing this extremely cogent and powerful article. And then I followed it up with another one. Professor Amar's article is a must-read for putting the Comey mess and, indeed, the entire election into clear focus. This was a great article, folks. It was on Slate.com. If you go to my Twitter account, twitter.com/ArthurDSchwartz.com, once again, you'll see the icon link on the show page, or ArthurDSchwartz.com. You'll see the link to Twitter there as well. I link it everywhere. You can read this article. This article was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Maybe no, I won't have time to read it. So I'm just going down this Twitter stuff, but I want to call your attention to that. I think I made one more. Let's see. Just one more. Okay, I don't care a whit that Comey's highly respected yada yada. The double standard versus Weiner versus Trump, the Russian asset, warrants his removal. That's the subject I'll come back to when we come back from the break, because we had the stuff about information about Trump and his dealings with Russia, which is extremely frightening. And the FBI is investigating Trump. Yes, he is. They are. And why didn't they let everyone know, just like they let everyone know about the email, that the computer they found, Weiner's computer? So I'll read that again. I don't care a whit that Comey's highly respected yada, yada, yada. The double standard, R.E. Weiner versus Trump, the Russian asset, warrants his removal. In other words, Comey's removal. Let's see if I have one more. That's anyway. That's pretty much my comments on Comey in the FBI. However, I'm going to talk about this Russia thing through the tweeting when we get back. So we can take a break now, and we'll be back shortly.
Are you a person who enjoys intellectual social interaction and finds digging deeper into the nature of things, from big issues to everyday life, an important part of the pleasure of life? Social Philosophizers is a Boston area social club for those who desire intellectual socializing. It's a club for both singles and non-singles, and for anyone who finds intellectually mingling to be the best form of social mingling. The club offers a variety of interesting venues, such as philosophical get-togethers in private venues, book discussions concerning literature and philosophy, topical discussions over brunch or dinner, guest speakers, theater, after-work mixers, even long philosophical ruminations along nature trails or city streets and more. If you live in the greater Boston area or occasionally spend time in the area, you can choose a cost-effective membership level that's right for you. Basic membership is free. Find the link on Arthur's Philosophical Perspectives show page at ArtistFirst.com or just search socialphilosophizers.com. We hope you'll join Social Philosophizers today. That's socialphilosophizers.com.
Ethical Empowerment, Virtue Beyond the Paradigms by Arthur D. Schwartz is a manifesto of non-doctrinaire perspective. A broad range of ideas and principles are discussed, but the ethical challenge is always to keep the diversity, depth, and breadth of philosophic perspective within the boundaries of love. One of the many transformative ideas discussed in Ethical Empowerment is a new type of patent system that would dramatically expedite the development of inventions by fairly rewarding inventors, while at the same time eliminating monopolistic control of patents and threats of technological suppression. This proposal for a new patent system would unleash a new era of technology that has hitherto been thought impossible, and empower a new era of economic flourishing. Ethical Empowerment is available at Amazon.com and most online booksellers in both print and ebook editions. And listen to Arthur the first and third Wednesday of each month, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on the ArtistFirst Radio Network.
Thanks for joining us on Philosophic Perspectives on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. Let's get back to your host, Arthur D. Schwartz.
Hello, welcome back. I did find one more I wanted to read concerning the FBI fiasco. A R, in parentheses, Republican. A Republican Supreme Court stole the election from Gore, and now a Republican FBI director is trying to steal the election from Clinton. It's a pattern. Okay, there's so much I can talk about. Obviously, the thing about Trump is why he is important, because I think my hope is he won't get president, but he now will become a symbol of what demagoguery is, because I think he is a flaming demagogue. I've always known about demagoguery, but as a philosopher and someone who considers himself a sort of epistemologist, which means theory of knowledge, the theory of what constitutes rational discourse, you might say, that I think demagoguery needs to be studied much more than it is in not in colleges. I mean, yes, in colleges, of course, but also in high school, because he is a walking, talking object of a civics lesson. I actually I replied to somebody, let's see. My thing just freeze up. No, okay. So let me just. I'm just going to. So what this woman said is, how can people say that Trump is good in business when he stiffs? No, that's actually another. And my computer is getting a little bit locked in. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, she wrote, I won't use her name, choice, madman versus rational woman. And this race is close. What alternate reality are we living in? And so I, just replied to her, because I certainly agree with her in her spirit, in terms of what she's saying. But I said, let me just find it here. A second. Okay. This computer is slow. Well, I know I'm having a hard time finding it. I can find it here. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about this. Just had it. Okay. I respond to that by saying, but we can shape our reality. I'm an optimist. A start. Civic classes teaching recognition of demagogues and hate mongers. So, yeah, that's one thing I give credit to Trump. I think in the future, hopefully as a not as a presidential, not as a former president, but as a non-president, he will be an image of what the voter has to look out for by understanding the tricks of demagoguery that works on fear, confusion, that selfishness, hate-mongering, demeaning language. It's the very bottom. It's actually, and I've done a couple of shows on this, it's actually what philosophy is not. Philosophy tries to be the very thing, or a philosopher, I should say, tries to be the very type of person that a demagogue is not. A demagogue is the anti-philosopher. Is non-reason. A demagogue only cares about one thing, himself, and the good of the country, the good of any other people. It's all about manipulating everything, working on their fears so he can self-aggrandize himself. And that is what Donald Trump does. Okay. Now, I know the time is running out. Time goes by so quickly. But in this, the other big issue was that you sort of in response to the FBI thing, the Democrats began to talk about this issue of Trump's connections, all kinds of monetary connections of his staff, a former campaign manager, connections of possible investments in places like Russia and China, all kinds of complicated arrangements that, if true, just think about the consequences if he were president and he was being bribed because of all the money, the millions and millions of dollars that he might owe to the Russians and other countries. It would be unbelievable. And, Trump always came, Trump, he's a, I've mentioned this before, he uses Goebbels' principle of demagoguery, which says, accuse the other side of that which you are guilty of. And so he talked about at one point, Hillary, when she gets in the office, she'll be selling, when she gets into the White House, she'll be selling the Oval Office. Well, what he was really saying is, no, I'll be selling the Oval Office because I'm the one that's in debt up to my eyebrows to these countries. So I am going to read a few tweets before we close out the show. Let's see. Okay. Oh. Okay, we are. Let's just find one. Well, here's someone slightly different. This is a slightly different subject, but here's a tweet I did on the 29th. All ye Trump voters, hear ye, hear ye. When the deportation force and door-to-door searches begin, know well that you've enabled the monster. And above that tweet, I have a picture of a Donald Trump devil. Okay. There's a lot of stuff here talking about Trump's authoritarian, proto-Nazi, proto-fascist proclivities. But let me just get this. Okay. Well, I mentioned Akil Reed Amar's article, and here's I say it is reported. Well, this is really just an article on the Atlantic. It's entitled. It is reported that the Kremlin has launched an operation approved by Putin to turn Trump into a Russian asset. That article was in the Atlantic. Once again, you can see all these things. You just go to my Twitter account, twitter.com/Arthur D. Schwartz. Okay, so here's a few of my quotes. Treachery and demagoguery are most fitting characteristics of Trump's behavior. Now a would-be POTUS, President of the United States, as compromised Russian asset. Then this was a quote I wrote long ago, which I retweeted. Trump's mad raving about Hillary Clinton that would put the Oval Office up for sale. His demagoguery for Trump will sell the Oval Office to his foreign creditors. I'm telling you, I'm sure he studied Goebbels. I know he had a book of Hitler's speeches on his bedside. And he does it so much. He continually accuses her of what he is guilty of. And he does it over and over and over and over again. Here, I say this. Here's the one I said. If Donald Trump becomes president, he will sell Alaska back to the Russians at 2 cents per acre, the original 1867 purchase price. That was a joke. Here's another one. Many people are saying that Donald Trump will sell Alaska back to the Russians. That many people are saying phrase you might know. There's a lot of fun being used there because that's when he said many people are saying it. I think that's when he used it when he claimed that it was during a time when he basically inferred that Clinton was trying to get rid of the Second Amendment, and so maybe the Second Amendment people will take care of her. But this many of people are saying is really a demagogic. I mean, many people. Who are many people? I mean, many people. Many people are saying, in other words, when you really don't know what the F you're talking about, just say many people are saying. That's what Donald Trump is all about. He's a know-nothing. A know-nothing. And so the way he covers up his know-nothingness is that many people are saying, and tricks like that. It makes it sound like he knows what he's talking about, but he actually knows nothing. He is a know-nothing. A big, fat know-nothing. Didn't, who said, who's the senator now from Minnesota that was on Saturday Night Live years ago? You know what I'm talking about, Scott?
Say again, senator from Minnesota.
Yeah,
what?
He's now a senator, and he used to be on Saturday Night Live. He's a senator of Minnesota now.
Al Franken.
Al Franken. Yeah. He wrote a book called who is the conservative radio host?
The Rush Limbaugh's a big fat idiot.
Yeah, Rush Limbaugh's a big fat idiot. Exactly. Well, Donald Trump is a big fat know-nothing. And you go to my Twitter page. There's some really interesting articles. We have one here. Vladimir Putin has a plan for destroying the West, and it looks like a lot like Donald Trump. Yeah, because they really, I don't think Donald Trump is actually a Russian agent, but I think they have been working with him and getting him, compromising him with, financial stuff. And there seems to be evidence that something along those lines might very well be in place. and it's not a conspiracy theory. There is evidence, and the FBI is investigating. So much for the FBI, though. So let's see. Let me see what else I have to read. Just a few. I said, oh, yeah, well, this is something I'd like to repeat to. This is something I wrote this morning. I probably should end with this. Before I read it, there's just one thing I want to. Let's see. Well, I did write somewhere that I feel that I can't find it. Just the other day, today I think, I just said Donald Trump is un-American, which I truly believe he is. I mean, he represents what America is not supposed to be about: divisiveness, hatred, bigotry. Whereas, let's see. Let me just try if I can find it this way. Okay. Donald Trump is un-American, far less American than the suffering immigrants he would turn away with a cold heart and a mean spirit. I see we're just about at the end of the show, but here is what I would like to end it with. Just give me 1 second. I just saw it. Okay, this will be my close. A belief and a prayer. There is a silent voter who might vote Trump, but depth of conscience resists his ugly campaign. He votes for Clinton. And so that's my belief, and it is also a prayer, because I will make a prediction now. I think Clinton will win, and I think she will win by a larger percentage than now seems likely, because I think there's a lot of people, not so much, Clinton has her issues, I certainly admit that. But there are a certain number of people who are undecided and will not, and even though a lot of people have voted, will not be able to pull the lever to cast that vote for Donald Trump. I think that is the silent voter that will walk into that voting booth, if she hasn't already, and just say, I cannot vote for that man. And then she either won't vote or more likely will just vote for Clinton. And I think that's going to happen. So I predict, even though it doesn't look too good right now because it's been a terrible week for her, I predict she will win, and she will win by a larger, it could possibly be a big number. She could even be as high as 10%, because if I'm right, that would create a kind of a wave that would change, will be stunning. Having said that, I could be wrong, but that's my belief, and that is my prayer. And so with that, I'm going to close tonight's show. Once again, I'm reaching out to authors, filmmakers, creative artists of all types to join the creativityexpo.org. Put yourself on the presenters registry, so I have a list. So I know who you are, and we will create group radio programs called the Radio Roundtable and do other great things. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you in that way. So this does conclude tonight's broadcast. For links to my book, Ethical Empowerment, Virtue Beyond Paradigms, my philosophical counseling and hypnotherapy practice, and the Social Philosophizers Club, I should also say, and the Social Philosophizers Club, and the Creativity Expo, I got to revise this, please visit arthurdschwartz.com. And this is Arthur D. Schwartz reminding you to live well and think deeply. So until next time, good night, everybody.